the asteroid Lilith, 1181, and the 11th house. The inclusion of asteroid 1181 Lilith in your natal chart represents the integration of the rebellious, raw, and untamed aspects of the Lilith archetype. While the black moon Lilith represents a mathematical point associated with suppressed instinct and exile, the physical asteroid Lilith, named after French composer Lily Boulanger, grounds this energy within the framework of civilization and social interaction. When placed in the 11th house, the sector of the zodiac traditionally associated with community, friendships, long-term visions, and social causes, asteroid Lilith brings a complex dynamic of societal integration versus alienation. This placement indicates that your rawest, most unfiltered self is expressed through your connection with groups, or conversely, that you struggle to find belonging because of your refusal to conform to group dynamics. Themes of the 11th house Lilith. The outsider in the collective. The 11th house governs your peer groups, networks, and how you participate in collective goals. With asteroid Lilith here, you may feel an inherent tension between wanting to belong to a community and refusing to compromise your individuality to fit in. You are likely drawn to countercultural movements, fringe groups, or individuals who are themselves outcasts. However, the shadow side can manifest as a deep-seated fear of rejection, leading you to sabotage friendships before the group has a chance to push you out. Unfiltered self-expression and authenticity. Asteroid Lilith demands absolute honesty. In the sphere of friendships and networking, you cannot tolerate superficial connections or people-pleasing dynamics. You desire profound, unconventional bonds where you can be your whole self, including your shadow side. This can make you appear intimidating or overly intense to more casual acquaintances. Your friends may find your boundaries shifting and unpredictable, as you operate on an internal moral compass rather than following societal etiquette. The projection of shame and desire. In the 11th house, Lilith can expose the hidden projections of the people around you. You may find that peers are strangely attracted to you, yet simultaneously intimidated by your autonomy. There is often a cycle where you test the loyalty of your friends to ensure they accept you for who you truly are, not just the version of you that fits their expectations. Navigating this placement involves learning to balance your need for absolute personal freedom with the vulnerability required to build stable, long-lasting communities. The evolutionary journey. To fully integrate asteroid Lilith in the 11th house, you must move from a place of alienation and defensiveness to one of conscious empowerment. Acknowledge your need for autonomy. Recognize that your desire to stand apart from the crowd is not a flaw, but a strength that allows you to see future trends and envision new possibilities. Transform shame into leadership. Instead of viewing yourself as an outcast, embrace your role as a visionary who can guide groups toward progressive, unconventional transformations. Establish healthy boundaries. Allow yourself to connect deeply with others without the fear that being yourself will lead to abandonment. The transit of asteroid Lilith, 1181, through the 11th house. When the transiting asteroid Lilith, 1181, moves through your 11th house, it brings a powerful period of individuation and social restructuring. The 11th house governs the collective, your friendships, social networks, long-term visions, and involvement with organizations or humanitarian causes. Because the 11th house is naturally associated with the zodiac sign Aquarius and the archetype of the outcast, it is a highly resonant space for Lilith's energy. During this transit, the untamed, raw, and authentic facets of your personality are brought to the forefront of your social interactions, challenging you to examine where you compromise your integrity to fit into the collective. The social unveiling and disruption. The call for authenticity in community. As asteroid Lilith transits the 11th house, you may find that your tolerance for superficial or forced social connections dissolves. You are likely to experience a sudden urge to strip away the pleasantries that govern group dynamics. This transit acts as a spotlight on the authenticity of your friendships. You may feel an instinctual pull to distance yourself from networks that demand conformity and instead seek out individuals who accept your shadow side. If you have been hiding parts of your personality out of a desire to be liked, this transit makes it increasingly difficult to keep up the facade. Confronting social alienation. The transit can bring periods of alienation or the feeling of being an outsider. Because Lilith represents the demonized or suppressed aspects of the self, you might face projections from your peers when you express unconventional or rebellious opinions. You may notice that group dynamics become tense, or that friends react with jealousy or intimidation to your growing autonomy. Rather than viewing this as a failure of your social life, it is crucial to recognize these moments as a form of social filtering. The discomfort you feel is the friction between your true, raw instincts and the rigid expectations of the collective. Navigating the Lilith transit. Breaking free from groupthink. The 11th house is heavily tied to societal and peer expectations. A transit of Lilith here empowers you to break free from groupthink and question the status quo of the communities you participate in. If you are involved in organizations, committees, or activist groups, this transit may inspire you to advocate for radical transparency and equity. However, the shadow expression could manifest as unnecessary rebelliousness, where you push back against authority figures or group guidelines simply for the sake of asserting your independence. Reclaiming your vision for the future. The 11th house is also the house of long-term goals and hopes for the future. Lilith's passage invites you to align your future visions with your deepest, most instinctual desires rather than the goals society sets for you. You may find yourself pivoting away from old ambitions to pursue paths that are entirely your own. This transit asks you to integrate your shadow, your repressed passions, your anger at inequality, and your untamed creativity into the way you envision your contribution to the world. The evolutionary cycle of the transit. The 1181 Lilith transit lasts for a fraction of the time compared to larger planetary cycles, but its effect is deeply psychological. To make the most of this transit, embrace your eccentricities. Do not fear being perceived as the odd one out within your community. Filter your connections. Use this period to build bonds based on mutual respect rather than a need for validation. Channel the passion. Use the intense emotional energy to fuel creative or progressive causes rather than allowing it to turn into interpersonal conflict. Subscribe, like, and share.